Hey everybody, I'm Mitch Leeuwe, and in this video I'm going to show how to paint this pumpkin. So you can help me out by leaving me a comment, telling me about what you think about the video or if you have any questions. And also liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel help me a lot to make more weekly videos like this. You can also support me by getting one of my ebooks and video tutorials or subscribing to my Patreon. So having said that, let's paint this pumpkin. I already made some preparations to start this, so I already drew the sketch I'm going to use. So I always start with a sketch. So yeah, and I also made a ball with the lightning effect and the colors I want to use. So I'm going to focus in this video on how to color this. So here you can see all the separate layers, right? So these are the separate layers. What I do, and you can use this in Photoshop and Procreate, they all have this. I click Alpha Lock and I pick the gradient tool and I add a gradient to this background here. So I don't know if you can clearly see it, but this is a bit lighter and this is darker. So now I'm going to take the biggest shape of the pumpkin and I take my paintbrush. So that's basically a soft brush. So I select the main shape, this pumpkin, and I have this soft brush. So the light is coming from this corner as I'm showing here with this ball. So I take this darker color, and I do alpha lock, so you paint within the shape, like this here. And I start adding some lightning like this here. So here's some light part. Maybe it's a little bit too much. So here, get some orange. I really like to think in saturation and in values and also in colors. So when I have this, I want to have more contrast. So let's try to see if I can find something. I think this is too dark. Let's make it a little bit reddish. Yeah, I think this could work. So try out some different colors, play around with using different colors. I think I want to make the middle a bit more orangey. And then here, a little bit of a light part. Later I'm going to add some more details and stuff. And I also want some bouncing light here. So now, and once you put off the sketch, you can see how it's starting to look. So let's now do these parts. Let me show that, what I mean. So here these teeth. So also again that alpha lock, make this a bit darker, maybe make it a bit redder, like this here. So here, make it a bit redder here and here. So here with the soft brush, and try to experiment, try to play around with different, and if you don't like it, you can always go back, Ctrl Z, or in Procreate, tap with 2 fingers and try to see what works. So here I'm using the selection tool to make these selections, to make these kinds of edges here. So like this. And again, check if I like where it's going to. I think this is fine. Look at these eyes. Maybe I want some glowing. No, didn't want to do this. Okay, I want to have some glowing effect here in these eyes. So make a new layer and take some light color, put it on a mask, and do something like this here. So maybe make this a bit like this here. Maybe a hard brush as well. So sometimes I also use a hard brush. See if that works. No, I don't think that works fine. Leave it like this here. Maybe we're going back later. So I'm now going to do this part. And let's do that alpha lock. Let's take the soft paintbrush again. Let's make this a little bit darker. like this here. Start painting these darker parts here. So make this dark, here dark, dark, dark. And then here some light. And maybe here some light. Maybe make this darker again. And we always can go back later, right? So first I start to get a general idea of what I want to get. So it's really important that you approach it in a playful way. So let's add some shadow here below. Let's take this color here. Let's make, start out with this soft brush, and with the transform tool. That's also something you have in Procreate and Photoshop. Let's add this here and see if this works. Yeah, this works fine. And let's see, what can we now do? So at one point we want to remove these lines, right? So what I usually like to do is I make these lines lighter, and then I can start seeing where I need to define these shapes more. Maybe duplicate it. So when you're going to try out stuff, maybe duplicate it, put it in a folder with a mask, make a selection like this here, and let's start making this a little bit darker. No, it's again too much. Sometimes when the colors get too muddy, make it a bit redder or a bit more purple, especially for the shadows. I'm using that a lot. So here, and let's do another part like this here. Let's make this a bit darker here, like this here, maybe here as well, and again that light part there. And then also here, let's add some shadow here, like this. And let's add some shadow here. So here you can basically see how I paint. I use a lot of the selection tool. You can also make all these different separate layers, but then your layers will become a mess. So I try to find a nice balance between getting enough layers to play around with, and and working on and adding stuff on layers so it doesn't get too confusing. So here, just keep adding these shadows, and this part can really take a lot of time. What I usually do is put on some music or stuff, and keep on working. So let's see. Let's do now this part. So again, making a selection, and I want to make this maybe a bit more yellowish. So I changed the color a little bit of the light parts, like this here, and I want here to get these lines. So I follow the sketch line I had with the lasso tool, and maybe make this here a bit lighter, like this here. I don't know. Just try out stuff, and if it doesn't work, remove it and try something else. It's really important with drawing to find something that works for you, that you're when we're drawing, we tend to be really judge ourselves a lot. So see if this works. You can turn off the sketch even more to see if stuff is getting to work right. And sometimes I also like to start drawing on top of those sketches. So here, I take this here, take a light color, and then I start painting here on these edges, like this here. Let's turn off the sketch, like you're adding a bevel. So then this edge will get a bit softer because of that. Like this here. And then I just start adding in all these, all these lines there. This here. So let's remove this here. And then a line here. And just keep adding these lines until you have something you like. And this part also takes a lot of time. And that is it with painting. It just takes a lot of time to paint this way, to get this 3D feeling. It's also very rewarding when you're finished. So we can also, here let's also add some light here. Going up, and it doesn't need to be perfect because we're so zoomed in. Let's turn on the sketch, see how far it goes. So here we can also add at the bottom of these edges darker line like this here. It will make these lines also a little bit softer. The lines doesn't have to be perfect. I also like that it's it has a little bit of that painterly feeling. So here let's add some edge here, going up, and let's make this a little bit darker, like this here, and here. Let's make this dark, and let's make this light. So again, what I often do is I put on a TV show or something, or a podcast or something, or watch an interview or an art tutorial, and just starting having fun and take time for this stage, especially when you're starting out. I wouldn't recommend to worry too much about being really fast, etc. I would just start with learning how to get this right. So here, adding these parts like this here, and that first step where you start painting in those big shapes, that's the part that goes the quickest, and this part is taking just a lot of time. But for once I wanted to show a little bit of the whole process, and also to show people that it just takes time to make these kinds of things. Here, let's add here this line here. So usually I'm a little bit more neater with how I paint, but I also want to be a little bit quick here. So let's see how this looks zoomed out. Yeah, it's starting to look like something. I find it still too flat at some parts. So that's something we could work on. Maybe I already want to add some details places. So maybe it's a little bit too early to start working on some spots and stuff, but it also will help you getting an idea where you want to go with the drawing. So here, let's make some spots here. Let's make this a little bit darker. So sometimes I'm using a soft brush and sometimes a hard brush. Here I'm using a hard brush. What I like about it is that then you get this, it's not perfectly, and then it will get this painted feeling to it. Let's erase it a little bit. Maybe it's cool to make a scratch here, right? So like this. It's this evil pumpkin, right? Let's add some lines here. Maybe make this a little bit lighter. Now it starts to be more painting and less gradient and perfect stuff. Maybe add some light parts. I think these edges are a little bit too hard. So So maybe add some light here and here. And every time I'm starting to paint, it's like I need to learn painting again. So like discovering what is working and what not. So sometimes I also start making it more rough, just to get the feeling of what I want to get. Maybe that's just my way of working, and this also this just an approach that I do like working in. So maybe I want to have some bouncing light here. So light also bounces. So that's also something you can work on. So I want to give this some eyebrows, something like this here. So here you can see I didn't show this in the original sketch. But I think I do like this. So what I can do is take selection tool and take the paintbrush again. Take this orange color, just use the color picker, something like this. See if this works. Here, make this selection, take this darker color, something like this here. But when I'm using darker colors, I try to avoid using too much black. Yeah, this is starting to get somewhere. Maybe I want to have a nose hole here. So I also want to show that along the way you can just change stuff, right? So maybe here you want to have this nose hole. It's like we're carving stuff out, right? It's like we're, so here, let's remove this part, let's make this tool, and let's here at this part and here. Maybe here. So you can now start seeing I'm starting to get more rough and rough. It's actually a good thing, because I don't want to make it look like it's all vectors or something. I want to get it that painterly, I want to give it that painterly look. So here, maybe some light there. Again, here at this edge, adding this on top of it. So let's do this here, this bevel. And now I also just start adding layers after layers. So here, like this, see if this works. Fine, maybe I would change it a little bit. Let's add some more spots like these ones. I think that could help. Maybe put this layer on multiply. It's a layer effect. Something that I often use when I'm making stuff like dots. Let's just first draw in some spots here and there. Maybe here. Maybe also here. Some spots that look a little bit too perfect. Maybe it's too much, but we will get back at this. First, I want to watch out that you don't get repetitive. These dots. So taking a soft brush and erase these spots a little bit. And let's start adding some edges here. Sit on, yeah, like this here. Maybe take a little bit more time for it. Maybe I'm a bit too hasty now at the moment. But you can always go back and change, draw on top of it, change stuff. And ask yourself, do you like it, or do you want to change some stuff? Here, maybe make this a little bit darker here, getting some shadow. Maybe make this a little bit darker. Maybe here as well. So try to have a little bit fun also in it. Maybe I want to have this a bit lighter. Let's make some dots here and there, here as well, to let it look more like it's an actual pumpkin. And what we can also do, so maybe it's not really done yet, but merge these layers and put a new folder on top of it, and a mask, and add a soft brush. First, maybe a little bit purple. Let's first make it maybe a little bit darker at some places. See if that works. So make it a little bit darker. I want to make it, give it a bit more 3D feeling. So let's add a bit more contrast. Put an overlay layer on top. So maybe here's some light, and also, yeah, I want to give these eyes more light, something like this. Yeah, I think that will start getting to work. Make a new layer, put an overlay, and here, and that's a bit, my approach is really, I try to be really playful and not too technical about this. I try to have fun, and I hope you will see that in the drawing. So here maybe add some green light, or let's make this maybe a different color. Let's see, let's colorize this. Maybe make it blue or something. Why is it not blue? Maybe put normal, put it a bit lighter. Maybe try out some different effects. If there's something I like. I actually, maybe if we do something like this, but no, let's put it on normal. It's really funny, and so here I'm trying stuff out, but it's not really working out that well. So maybe just delete it and try something else. Put overlay and make a pink color or something. Something like this. Maybe add some overlay with green, something like this here. To add here. Yeah, maybe that could work. And then let's start adding some extra light here at these edges here. Maybe some extra dots here. Maybe some small ones. See if that works. Make it, erase it a little bit so you can almost see it. Maybe, what can we do in the eyes? Maybe a white dot or something. No, this doesn't working. Just try to out different stuff, right? See if it's all working. Does this look cool or not? Maybe not. Let's erase it a little bit. A bit lighter. Yeah, there's something that could work. And yeah, I think I want to end the video a little bit now, or maybe just let's try out some small things. Let's maybe for once make this video a little bit longer. So here, get these parts a little bit, see if this works. Again, make this maybe with some extra light. So again, I don't really mind. That's not super clean. It's not what I want to go for. I want to get a cool effect. And if you zoomed out this much, you don't even see all those rough strokes and stuff. You can also add the texture, stuff like this here. Let's add this here. And maybe something like this here. So can I add something else? No, I think I like it this way. So yeah, don't worry too much about being rough, because when you zoom out, you almost don't see it. And you can just draw over these shapes, right, with a new layer. For example, adding this scar, right, this here, and adding some light here. So it's important to understand where the light is coming from. Maybe here at this darkness here, so you can feel that it's that you have the shape there. Again, taking bit more time. Maybe here, make a selection out of it and get a soft brush like this here. So I always like to change stuff on the go and see what works and not. Trying out different stuff. Yeah, I think this will work. So this is basically how I paint a pumpkin like this. So that was my Halloween video tutorial about painting this pumpkin. So I hope you liked it. Leave me a comment below. Also, if you have any questions, let me know. And also subscribe to this video to help me out. And you can also support me by getting my, for example, my ebook about how to paint. And it also comes with a video explaining more, and you also get my brushes with it. So yeah, that's it, and I hope to see you next week again. Thanks everybody, bye bye.